Alright, so this is actually like my third video, but I skipped the second one. And the reason being is you'll see this looks horrible, kind of. It does look horrible. Um, so in the first video we had a nice header and like the layout was pretty nice, but I ran into some issues. If you change the screen size, it would shrink the images with the screen size. So you couldn't read anything, you couldn't read text, you couldn't see images. And I didn't really think that through until I had already made the whole website. So basically in this video I'm going to be doing some styling with this. And I'm going to be showing a technique that could have worked where you wouldn't have to really worry about the size, but this will work probably the best, especially if you go to view your website on a web page on your phone or like a smaller device than a computer screen. So anyway, this is what the website would have looked like. This is actually my second video that I made. I added my logo in. I changed some text around. I added in Google Fonts, which I'm probably going to show you how to do that in this video. It's fairly straightforward. I'm actually just going to open up this web page and get the coding for it. It's not really coding, it's just linking to a web page. But then you can use fonts like this that look really nice. It kind of looks like a chalkboard. But as you can see, it's definitely better looking than what my current page looks like. But it would like shrink into little tiny pictures. So I basically went for a more streamlined approach. Obviously there's no formatting. I did this in like 30 minutes when I was at work one day. And sorry for my weird voice. I have like a cold or something. I have no idea. It's not COVID though, because I tested myself for that. So anyway, you can see my stuff in the background. So now with this one, I set it so once it shrinks, it just puts another layer, or puts another row of the pictures instead of trying to shrink them down. And I made them small enough to where it shouldn't really do anything. It won't really mess with them. As you can see, it's, well, obviously, when one moves from here to there, it's just going to create a new row. So if I scroll all the way down, yeah. I don't know if I should add in a scroll bar as well or not, but currently I got rid of it. So I'm going to show you how, if you do get to the end of editing your website and you're like, oh crap, my screen is being stupid, or it's not fitting correctly. And this is basically if you do want it to change sizes, like the images get smaller and bigger. I don't know why you would, like, it makes it so you can't read anything anymore. But yes, so this actually is fairly helpful. So basically it will change your styling based on how big the user's screen is. So if they're on a cell phone, I mean, they're not really cell phones anymore, but if they're on a smartphone, if they're on a tablet, if they're on a 75-inch TV for some reason, then it'll change based on how wide the screen is. So you can like position stuff differently as well, but it's basically like at media, and then you do. So for the first one, what is the max width you want it to be? So like I'll do 1,000 pixels, and then you would just kind of copy these. You don't have to copy them in, but copy this in here and then paste it, and you put all your styling inside of here. So any screen underneath under 1,000 pixels, this is what the styling will be. Keep in mind if you don't have styling outside of here and the screen is like 1001 pixels or more, it's not going to look any different. Like there's styling's not going to apply to it. So in that case, if you want that to happen, so anything under 1,000 pixels, whatever's in there is going to get styled like that. So this can work with positioning items and everything. So if you wanted a different style menu when the screen's smaller and stuff like that, this is really helpful. So then for this, you would actually do min width, so minimum width, and then I usually just do one pixel more than the last one. And if you did want another maximum, you would do and max width. Let's do like 10,000 pixels. That 75-inch TV. I don't actually know how many pixels it would be. It really depends on what the resolution is. Anyway. And then you would just put in your styling. So when it's over 1,001 pixels, it's going to be styled like this. If it's lower than that, it's going to be styled with these. I'm not going to use that because I made it so then the simpler approach is to just set all your items to a specific width. And most screens, I'm not sure how wide most screens are, but pretty much if this is a pretty good size where it's going to fit. Like, even I tested the smallest screens and like 200 by 200 was pretty good. Well, 200 by 100. But anyway, that was how you would do that. So I have been working on the website. It's just this is a completely different layout that I made. So, yes. And you're probably wondering, well, actually I didn't even show it. I don't know how to get this to go. I don't even know what I just did. Anyway, you're probably wondering, you're probably not wondering, but let's just pretend you are. There's nothing in here. How's there anything loading? Like, yeah. There's no elements. That would get into this. So you can completely ignore these. I was using this to, you can add a subclass to an object and add and remove an animation. I'll get into that some other video, I guess. So anyway, these are pretty easy. These are called lists or arrays. They're more called lists. But so I have the name of all the different Funko Pops. Then I have the list of all their eBay links. And then I have a list of all the locations, I guess technically on the server, even though it's local files, where the images are. And then down here I just have the prices to go with them. So all of these will correspond with each other. So this is index 0. Lists start at 0, and in the total length may be 24 items or something. But the actual last index point is 23 because it starts at 0. So 0 plus, if you start at 0 and add 23 to that, or you'll have 24 total. I don't know what I'm trying to say. So this would be 0, index point, this is 0, this is 0, and this is 0, and they're all for the same thing. They all correspond with each other. So down here we select our gallery location. I'm going to switch that over. I'm going to close this, going to open this, and then split it to the right. So hopefully that's big enough. I'm going to give it some more space. So over here we have our gallery location, and it's literally just this. We do have styling inside the CSS page, or file, that has the gallery styling and how I want it to look. But, I mean, clearly you saw the web page earlier. It doesn't really have too much styling. So anyway, down here, I have a function that's create or generate gallery. Essentially, the easiest way to get it so it puts the element in how you want it to be, you would just go into your HTML page, create the element like you want it to look. So, like, I'll just show you real quick. Get rid of this. We don't need that. Div ID equals, so the parent element is called item, and then we have item image. So we have already done styling for all of this. And then we have href. I'm not even going to put anything in there. And then inside of here we have image source equals. Once again, not putting anything in there. Obviously you would if you wanted to see an image testing, so you just use the information on the right. And then we have our second bit of the item box, and this is item info, I think. And then you just have the name item. Sorry, yeah. Item name. Type in something. And then in here, item price. And then $1. So it's easiest if you just kind of make it so you can test it, make sure it looks how you want it to look. And then so obviously if it's going to be styled in the gallery, make sure this is inside the opening and closing brackets, or not brackets, tags for the gallery, so it looks correct how it's going to look if you load it in. So basically you're going to take, just pretty much write this word for quote unquote word so you can see. So you have to use single quotes or double quotes. So you know how ID is in quotes. So in here I have it in quotes. Now if you can see right here, so we have our link that we need to load in. I only have 1/2 of the double quotes. Then we put in the link right here. Then we add another one. And then this is where the second double quote is that closes that into a string value. So I just basically went through this and filled in all the information where it was supposed to be with what's in here. And if you don't know what a loop is, it basically just goes through, well, it loops through, for in this instance it's a list. So it loops through the list and selects each individual. So variable I starts at 0. As long as I is less than the total length of this, so if there's 24, as long as I is less than 24, I will increase by 1 every time it loops, and if it's going to go over, it'll stop. So we loop through this and it creates an element, and then since we have I, we use I for the index value. So we start at 0 and then it goes 0, 1, 2, 3 while it's creating and adding the new elements at the end of the gallery. So hopefully that makes sense. There's a lot of resources where you can search for how the loops work. This is specifically JavaScript. It's pretty straightforward once you learn it. The basic concepts of coding are almost always the same. So far in all the coding languages I've learned, the basic concepts like loops, lists, arrays, there's maps, stuff like that, are all the same. It's just basically worded differently, or brackets are in different places, but the concepts are pretty much identical. Like a loop is always going to work like a loop no matter what, coding language you're in. Anyway, hopefully that helps someone. So just go through this and type it in basically exactly how it shows. Closing brackets or closing tags where closing tags are. Make sure you're doing where you need to add in one of these. You do just the opening quotes, and then in the next section when you add it, the closing ones. So I'll keep showing that right here. So we have the opening, we put in the title, then we close it right there. Same thing with all these. If you have to add in something, that's how you're going to do it. So for now, and then, well, basically, that does that. Now, you have to make sure it loads. So, also, if you wanted to do some testing where it's not loading, you can actually just do that, and it works like the JavaScript. It works like the JavaScript comments. It doesn't work. It doesn't need to be the HTML. So now it's just going to be nothing. This one is because it's down here, and I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to save. Let's just go back. So now we have nothing there. So what this is doing, also, if you're going to add script, probably put it at the bottom. I think I said that in the last video. That way, everything is loaded into the page, and then the script is going to be ran. So once the full body is loaded, then the script can load. So we took our function and just put it on load equals in double quotes or single quotes. Generate gallery and then parentheses at the end of it. And it will load. Boom. So I'm going to end this video here because I just wanted to kind of explain it. In the next video, I'm going to be working on styling. So if you want to learn a little bit about styling, just watch the next video. I'll probably upload it. It's not going to be 4 or 5 days later like this one. It's just because I had already, done tons of work and then kind of got rid of what I did. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm out.